Kaylee, as you know, the country has hit 200,000 deaths from the coronavirus. What do you say to Americans who are outraged over this and blame this administration for so many lives lost in this country?
Well, as you've heard several doctors in the task force note from this podium, we are looking at the prospect of 2 million people potentially perishing from the coronavirus in this country. We grieve when even one life is lost, but the fact that we have that we have come nowhere near that number is a testament to this president taking immediate action, to shutting down travel from China when the other party, Democrats, were saying that was xenophobic, for shutting down travel for Europe, for developing landmark therapeutics that are working like remdesivir.
Acting immediately. The man who knew. Can I tell you what immediately is? Immediately is when I started to personally do the numbers back in January. And I started alerting my audience back in January. Immediately is when a teacher in our school district, not too far from our children's school, got sick with COVID. We immediately pulled our kids out of school that day. They didn't go back anymore. And we started homeschooling and quarantining February 27th. That was before Donald Trump was even admitting publicly that it was real. He was admitting privately that it was real and very, very seriously. But immediately would have been back in December when they had the intelligence and they had the information from our intelligence agencies that this was a clear and present threat. Immediately is when, back in January, Donald Trump's advisor on trade, his name escapes me, sent a memo to the White House telling them exactly what was going to happen. Immediately is not when he canceled flights to China. It was already too late by that point. And the fact that we're playing this game that, oh, well, it's not 2 million people. I'm sorry, what? You're expecting us to look at 200,000 bodies. So if that's the case, the next time America wants to take us into the war and you want us to mourn 1,000 soldiers getting killed, we're going to say it wasn't 1 million. Christopher said, I also started following since January. We started going into quarantine in my house in February. Exactly. How is it that regular people, regular Joes, hell, speaking of Joe Rogan put out a podcast in January that had more information that was accurate to this day than the president was putting out from his bully pulpit, from the podium, from his press briefings. How the hell is a podcaster giving better information than the president of the United States? That's because the president of the United States knew exactly the truth, but chose to downplay it. And when you have people who can strike that, let me start that sentence over again. You will always have people who are willing to cover for somebody like Donald Trump for any number of reasons. Number one, they get paid good money to do it. Number two, they are believers in the ideology and they're willing to do anything to protect it. Because anybody with integrity would have left that White House already. They weren't even testing immediately. I mean, talking about immediately, like these morons are still out here talking about we don't need to wear masks to this day. Till this day, they're still talking about we don't need to wear a mask. Right.